What's up everyone, TJ here. In this video, I'm reviewing the Endeavor Trooper in collaboration with Snowboard Magazine. Okay, real quick for your reference, before I get into the tech, I'm 5'10", I weigh around 155 pounds, and I tested this board in size 154. Now the Trooper is part of the Director series on the Endeavor lineup, and it's like an all-mountain freeride focused kind of board that is built for resort versatility. It does have a directional design, so you're gonna get this directional outline with noticeably more nose up front outside the contact points, as well as 22 millimeters of taper, so you got a narrower tail back here. And I really like the shape of this board. You got this wide kind of shovel nose up front that leads into almost like kind of a pintail in the back here. You're gonna get a lot more surface area in the front of the snowboard, and that combined with the camber profile and this channel system are all gonna help you out in deeper snow conditions. So let's break down this full channel real quick. So the stance at reference is actually marked in the center of the side cut, so you can decide how far back you want to set the stance. If it's a deep day, you want to shift it back, you can set it back as far as you want. They got 1.5, 2 inches labeled here on the board, but with this full channel, you can really just get creative and do whatever you want. You can get weird with it, whether you're riding power, riding resort, late season slush, party laps. I think that's one of the coolest features in this snowboard, is that it unlocks that truly unlimited stance creativity. You're gonna get Endeavor's hover camber profile on this snowboard, so it is camber dominant and runs a shifted camber basically. So from right around your front foot all the way out to the tail, you're gonna get positive camber for a lot of stability, power, and control, with reverse camber running from your front foot out into the nose. And one thing I really like about this camber profile for this style of snowboard is that by simply standing on the board and putting your weight in it, you're actually gonna activate that reverse camber even more. So that's gonna provide nice, smooth turn entry and provide a nice benefit helping this board out on those deeper days. Other than that, you're gonna get a very similar construction to Endeavor's Legacy series, which includes their Phone-On top sheet. That's gonna be a pre-tensioned fiberglass, continuously laminated top sheet that's gonna help supercharge the energy and the snap you're gonna get out of this snowboard, as well as their Smooth Ride urethane sidewalls. It's the same material that skateboard wheels are made out of. It's gonna help dampen out vibrations and make this board feel a little bit more comfortable out there as you're exploring, helping minimize that chatter, as well as a high-end sintered 7500 base. So that's a dense base material that's durable and fast. You do want to make sure to wax it regularly to maintain a nice consistent glide for that optimal feel through the season, but it's always good to see that built into the construction of these higher end snowboards. And that's it for a quick tech breakdown. Let's get into how this board felt around the resort. Since I spent my time riding around resort and I didn't get this thing out in some deep conditions, I rode this with the stance just slightly set back, like maybe 1 centimeter, if that, pretty centered in the side cut. And I want to start the review off talking about the flex you're going to find in this one. So I'd say it sits right around a mid flex, or maybe just like slightly on the stiffer side of medium. It comes through with some good versatile stability and a surprising amount of precision. Now, one thing I like to do in the reviews is test boards out with butters and flat tricks. I think trying to sit in a press is a great way to feel out the flex, and you can get some flex out of the Trooper, but it's one of those boards where you really have to commit a little bit more, especially in the tail of the snowboard where you don't have as much leverage. But I think the biggest standout for me with flat tricks is the precision. You do got to be on it with your edge control on this thing to make sure you're not hooking up out there. And I actually really liked kind of snapping off the nose a little bit more. With that reverse camber, you get a little bit more leverage. You got a bigger platform up there to pop off of as well, and had a good feel for snapping out of tricks and into tricks where you're leaning into the nose of the snowboard. Now, obviously that's not the focus for this one, but you can still have some fun with it, and you're gonna find some good energy in this snowboard as well. It's got some good snap. And I did take this board through the park out at Copper as well, but spent a lot more time in the terrain park at Mammoth later in the season. And while this board isn't necessarily very freestyle focused for park laps, you can still have a good time in there. I think that it leans a little bit more To the jump side of things, it's plenty of fun getting some air time, and it feels pretty comfortable on jumps. Wasn't as cozy on the jibs, but you know, if you want to do some novelty park laps, you can definitely get it done. But I think that this board lends itself more to exploring outside of the park, but does still hold it down riding with a freestyle approach. It rides switch pretty comfortably. You are going to notice the taper a little bit, but I was riding, you know, with a pretty centered stance, so it still felt pretty comfortable. It doesn't really throw you off, something you can get used to pretty quick out there, depending on how you have your stance set up at least. And I want to talk about how this board carves as well. That was one of the biggest highlights for me with the Trooper. At size 154, you're going to get a 7.5 meter side cut, which is a very versatile side cut, going to feel comfortable at a wide variety of speeds, as well as a 26.8 centimeter waist width. So this board has an exceptionally wide chassis for the size. Not only is that going to be more friendly for those of you with a bigger boot size that are trying to mitigate that heel and toe drag, but it's very noticeable when you're carving for all of us. It's going to make those more aggressive edge angles much more accessible. It's going to lend itself to just diving into turns, doing Euro carves, and really committing to your carves and feeling confident, both on your toes and on your heels, which is awesome. I really like that combination of the width, the camber underfoot, and the taper that you get in this snowboard. I think that that does come through with that more directional feel that just drives through turns super well. It's a very powerful, confident carving snowboard. It's going to be able to push through more variable, hectic snow conditions as well. Spent a lot of time in that late season slush on this thing, and that is going to be a non-issue for this one. It's going to be able to chop right through that. I think that you're really going to enjoy the carving experience on this snowboard, and it's probably going to be a standout for you as well. Now, like I mentioned, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this board out on a deep day, but I do plan to do that later this season, so make sure you're subscribed if you're interested in that video. But just a quick recap, you know, you've got this directional outline, 22 millimeters of taper, this nice pintail kind of tail, as well as these unlimited stance options and the wide chassis. So this board's going to offer a lot of surface area. I think it's going to be a great time in the POW. I think it's going to feel nice and maneuverable as well with this tail shape. I really want to get out there and kind of try out like a super setback, like maybe kind of like this stance where you just have like half the board as a nose. I think that'd be pretty fun. And it'd be cool to just do a video carving with all kinds of weird angles as well. So let me know what you think I should do down in the comments. We're gonna get a little creative with this one later in the season. But overall, I think that this is going to be a great snowboard for someone that rides with a more all-mountain approach, looking for something versatile around the resort and values precision and stability while still having something that's kind of manageable. It's not like an overly aggressive snowboard. So if you're looking for something like that, consider the Endeavor Trooper. I'm gonna have this one linked down below so it's easy for you to find if you want to read more about it, as well as a link to the latest issue of Snowboard Magazine. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching today. If you got some value, please make sure to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here for all the new reviews coming out, and we'll see you in a new one next time.